AVS Media
Tower,
Demo.
Papa Hotel Lima Echo November radio check.
Papa Echo November, good afternoon, read you 5.
Good afternoon, read you 5 as well, Papa Echo November.
The X-Zone radio and TV show is largely an opinion talk show. All opinions, comments, or statements of fact expressed by Rob McConnell's guests are strictly their own and are not to be construed as those of the X-Zone radio and TV show or in any manner endorsed by Rob McConnell, Relmar McConnell Media Company, Talkstar Radio Network, its affiliated stations, or employees.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
And welcome to the X-Zone, everyone. My name is Rob McConnell, and we're coming to you from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Worldwide toll-free, 1-800-610-7035. Our email address is xzone@xzoneradiotv.com. On MSN Messenger, xzoneradiotv@hotmail.com. And our website, www.xzoneradiotv.com. And the X-Zone comes to you Monday through Friday, starting at 10 p.m. Eastern until 2 a.m. Eastern. Then another network carries it in other parts of the world from 2 a.m. until 6 a.m. And then another network picks it up from 6 p.m. until 10 p.m. And then we carry the entire day over again, starting with you right here on the Talkstar Radio Network, X-Zone Broadcast Network, UK High Definition Radio, Euro High Definition Radio, Star Cable, and our broadcast affiliates right across Canada, the United States, Central America, South America, the Pacific Rim, Asia, India, Africa, and Europe. My guest this hour is no stranger to the X-Zone. E.P. GRONDINE is his name. We're going to be talking about close encounters with meteors, comets, and asteroids this hour. Ed GRONDINE is one of the world's foremost authorities on comet and asteroid impact. Ed began reporting on the Russian manned space program in 1986 for industry publications. Ed expanded his reporting to Chinese manned space program in 1992 when he broke the story of China's new manned space effort. Extracts from his reportage are currently available to the public online through Mark Wade's Encyclopedia Astronautica. Ed's first and last book, Man and Impact in the Americas, is currently sold out with a few remaining copies available only to senior scientists and their students and to Native American elders. Inexpensive copies of his books are available currently to the public through Amazon.com, and the book may always be read free of charge through interlibrary loan. And joining me now is Ed GRONDINE. Ed, welcome back to the X-Zone.
It's really a pleasure to be with you, Rob.
Ed, last week there were a couple of close encounters of a very scientific type. And this hour we're going to be discussing the meteorite that exploded over Russia. We're going to be talking about that meteor or that space particle. I guess it was a meteor. No, it wasn't a meteor, was it? that came between, that was 1,700 miles?
That was an asteroid.
Asteroid, right. And it raises a lot of questions that you and I have talked about in the past. So, Ed, I'm happy you're with us tonight. We're going to start the show on the other side of this commercial break. Ed Grondine is my guest. We're talking about close encounters with comets, meteorites, and asteroids this hour here in the X Zone. After all, this is truly a place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. It's a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Here's a couple of websites, X Zone Nation. If you'd like to listen to the current podcast, just go to www.xzonepodcast.com to find out who's the who in the world of the paranormal, science of parapsychology, and all the topics that we cover here in the X Zone. Go to our X Zone directory of who's who at www.xzonedirectory.com. And if you'd like to get our latest CD of all the music that we use here in the X Zone on our show, www.xzoneradiotv.com, or you can go to amazon.com. My name is Rob McConnell. This is the X Zone. Ed Grondine and I will be talking about comets, meteorites, and asteroids this hour here in the X Zone. Don't go away.
You're listening to the X Zone Radio Show with my good friend, Earthling Rob McConnell, live and around the world on Talkstar. www.xzoneradio.com.
Welcome back to the X Zone, everyone. E.P. Grondine is our very special guest this hour. We're talking about close encounters with comets, meteorites, and asteroids. And E.P. is also the author of Man and Impact in the Americas. All right, let's take a look at what happened last week. We had this asteroid that came very close to Earth. Now, a lot of people may say, yeah, it was 17,500 miles. But that's not that far, considering the satellites that are in geosynchronous orbit are only 22,000 miles out there, Ed. We knew that asteroid was coming, but I think it's more than just coincidence that the very same day of the asteroid flyby, that the meteorite explodes over Russia.
Oh, okay, Rob. We don't know. There's a February meteoroid stream that appears to come in on a periodic basis. Every asteroid that we've seen has had craters on it where chunks have been knocked loose, or they have loosely attached rubble. And it's quite possible that a fragment of DA-14, which couldn't be seen by telescopes, actually did a combo shot on the February meteoroid stream and knocked a chunk into the Earth.
Wow.
Yes.
So how did that meteorite over Russia slip through the radar net?
Well, it came from the sun, and so the telescopes can't see against the sun, and that's how it got in.
But how about the radio telescopes? Why didn't they pick it up?
Well, they're high power. A lot of them are devoted to deep space communications and space astronomy. So that you have to point those things. Actually, you have to have a pretty precise track on an asteroid before you can image it with radar, as it currently sits.
So are you saying, Ed, that if something comes at us from the sun, we can't detect it, and we might get smucked by something that is a lot larger than the one that exploded over Russia?
Well, fortunately, Rob, no. The B612 Foundation has a Sentinel-NEO telescope to go in orbit between the Earth and the Sun, and it'll pick up most things that are coming from that direction.
Now, when does that go into orbit, Ed?
We don't know. There's fundraisers on this year. If you're in the multimillionaire club, you can join up for the socials.
So we have to wait until something is done. But what happens between then and now?
Well, we're pretty much wide open. But the wonderful thing about this is that we had expected for years that the first impact or warning shot would kill people. And when we saw that it didn't kill anybody, it was just a miracle. It was large. People know that this stuff happens. You can see it. But no one was killed, and that was a blessing. The other one on DA14, we have those things. We've had those things happen all through our history, where it comes in very close to the Earth. We've only seen it, and when we've seen it, and that's only been recently after the things have passed. This one was picked up very early, so it's astoundingly good news. They're very lucky.
Doesn't that concern you that here we are in this high-tech age of ours, and still we have a gap within the protective ring around this planet that still a meteorite can get through?
Well, when I started off on this back in 1997, there was nothing. There would have been no warning at all. Now we're much better positioned than we were then. There was absolutely no warning for a Tunguska-sized impactor.
Right.
So then DA14 would never have been spotted at all. So we've come a tremendous way since then. And this warning shot is likely to drop everything into place to seal the system. I want to mention Canada has paid already, as a Canadian, for the NeoSat, and that's going to be launched by India coming up here on February 25th. So, and that'll provide a heck of a lot of protection.
Tell me, Ed, what was the first thing you did after you heard the news?
Well, I went over and watched all the videos that came out real time. We'd initially gotten casualty reports, but the injury reports. And so, the question was, how bad is this going to be? Then I sat and watched those and watched the entry paths. But then when you could see the videos from inside where the glass just came in and then dropped to the floor instead of going at a couple hundred miles an hour, which would have been the case had this thing exploded just a little bit further into the atmosphere, then I knew that there wouldn't be much need for eye transplants, and most of it was just cuts, nasty cuts and minor cuts. So it was a really good feeling when I saw that, and then I went out and got a pizza and went to sleep because it would be time until the circuit of analysis really started up.
Okay, so what happens next? What is the next step that the scientific community takes?
Well, I woke up later that evening, got congratulatory calls, which was nice, because I've been at this for so long, and then the scientific analysis started up. The meteorite hunters were out working, and it, what came down, where did it fall, and what signals we have available. The analysis of the trajectories from the videos had begun, so that's what happened for me next.
But what is the use of all this analysis?
Well, we'll teach us how to stop one of these things, or what we'll need exactly to use. Also the mechanisms, the mechanics of bolide explosions. And what you watch there in that bright flash of light, a lot of people think that what you have is a sonic boom that hit the ground. No, what happens is a bolide event where the front side of the impactor, and in this case you call it a meteoroid because there were meteorites from it and people were left alive to collect the meteorites. The front side of a meteoroid goes through the back side of a meteoroid, and then it that's what causes it to explode, throwing off the infrared light that you saw.
Okay, so the information that is collected, let me see if I've got this correct, is used in the detection of these meteorites?
It'll be used actually to understand the mechanics of how to stop them. We know how dense they are. We have a good idea of some entry paths now, and it's just really good. Scientifically, it's very valuable because you know what kind of systems you have to stop one.
So what's going on with the Russian space program and the Russian response?
Well, the Prime Minister told the Defense Ministry that it was their job to see that one of these never hit Russia again. It's no secret that Russia, the U.S., and China have anti-satellite weapons. Well, if you can spot one of these early enough, you can use those weapons for peaceful purposes, preventing anything from hitting like a Tunguska-type impactor.
It's funny because the week prior to these two, the asteroid and the meteorite that no one was expecting, the Discovery Channel and other channels were advertising programming that they had planned for the week that it actually happened on the Tunguska event. And I find this more than just coincidental.
It's I don't think it was a public relations stunt by any of the science channels to promote their shows, but undoubtedly they got good viewing. Essentially, in this case, instead of having a comet chunk come in, we had a stony asteroid, 10% iron content, ordinary chondrite, and it just went off. It's just one of them things. I go with the theory of a combo shot, but that's just me.
Was there any response by the United States or NASA to the events that happened in Russia?
Well, Administrator Bolden gave the Atlas system $5 million. I'm assuming that's out of his discretionary funds. It's like contingency funds. And essentially what that was a payoff to the University of New Mexico for saying that there wasn't a comet that killed, comet impact that killed 95% of the people living in North America. It was a payoff to Boswell for taking that line when he knows better. It's just the other one that NASA did was their PAO is releasing plenty of press releases, the Public Affairs Office, so they're trying to make this go away, but it's not going to go away. They'll try and feed stories to the press. Here's your easy story, here's your paycheck. Try and move it off the front page, but it's not going to move.
So so we can look at this as a wake-up call then?
Exactly, and nobody died. So it's wonderful.
It sure is. Ed, you and I have to take our commercial break with the news. Please stand by. We'll be back shortly. E.P. Grondine is our special guest, Exo Nation. We're talking about comets, asteroids, and meteorites this hour here on the X-Zone. E.P. is also the author of Man and Impact in the Americas. My name is Rob McConnell. This is the X-Zone, a place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. Coming up next week, we also have a former astronaut coming on the show to talk about deep space impact. Dr. John Brandenburg is his name. We're going to be talking to the good doctor, not only about comets, asteroids, and meteorites, but the present-day space program and what's in store for us in the future. My name is Rob McConnell. This is the X-Zone, and I will be back on the other side of this commercial break from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Don't go away. From our broadcast studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, to the world and beyond, you're watching the X-Zone Broadcast Network, www.xzbn.net. You're listening to the X Zone Radio Show, live and around the world on the Talkstar Radio Network, X Zone Broadcast Network, UK High Definition Radio, Euro High Definition Radio, and Star Cable. Our toll-free telephone number worldwide is 1-800-610-7035. Our email address, xzone@xzoneradiotv.com. On MSN Messenger, xzoneradiotv@hotmail.com, and our website, www.xzoneradiotv.com. X Zone Nation, welcome back. My name is Rob McConnell, and this is the X Zone Radio TV show coming to you from our studios in beautiful Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Worldwide toll-free, 1-800-610-7035. Email xzone@xzoneradiotv.com. On MSN Messenger, xzoneradiotv@hotmail.com. And our website, www.xzoneradiotv.com. And don't forget, X Zone Nation, you can always listen to 3 months' worth of podcasts, or they're available on Apple iTunes as well, at www.xzonepodcast.com, and to check out who's the who in the world of the paranormal and the science of parapsychology. Check out our online directory at www.xzonedirectory.com, and coming in the middle of March, I am told, the printed version will be available at Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, and bookstores everywhere. E.P. Grondine is my guest this hour. We're talking about close encounters with comets, meteorites, and asteroids. And Ed is one of the world's foremost authorities on comet and asteroid impact. He's also the author of Man and Impact in the Americas. And Ed, it's always great having you on the show. When we look at the space projects and what's going on, I had a gentleman on the show, and I'm so happy you're with me tonight because I wanted to talk to you about his claims. His name is Dr. Miller, and he claims to have worked at NASA. And he told me on air that the United States and Russia had already done missions to Mars prior to the Apollo project. Now, I don't believe him.
Yeah, you're right in that. The Russians originally had planned for what they called a Tojoli Meshplaneti Kорабль, and you'll have to excuse me since my stroke, my Russian isn't that good.
My gosh.
Essentially, it was a heavy interplanetary spacecraft. They had actually planned to send that around Mars and Venus before they entered into the competition to land a man on the moon. And when Kennedy brought that up, actually shortly there, it was 1964, Khrushchev said, we're not going with the Tojoli Meshplaneti Kорабль, the heavy interplanetary spacecraft. We're going to land a man on the moon. So actually, they would have gone to Mars then, actually the orbit of Mars back in the early 60s, late 60s, excuse me. But Khrushchev changed his mind, so...
Well, he had other things on his mind, you know, with Kennedy, who was really starting to put the screws to Russia, and I just thank God that things worked out the way they did, and it's nice to see the two Cold War combatants who are now working on peace missions.
Yes, it is. It's a very good thing.
There's been the Discovery Channel and EQ HD have a number of IMAX shows based on our space project. And I'm for anyone who's listening, if you get EQ or Discovery, check out the IMAX features. They are fascinating. It's when you watch something in high definition that was shot in IMAX, the crystal clarity and the imagery is just beyond belief. And what is the next step in manned spaceflight?
Well, President Obama had called for a mission to an asteroid. Then, of course, you have to find the asteroid that you want to visit beforehand, and that was preliminary to sending men to Mars. We'll just see how things work through the current budget crisis. That's all we can do. It's quite expensive the way they've got it set up, and the question is there cheaper and better ways of doing it? Can the price cost be split internationally? So we'll just see what happens.
Yeah, it's. I was reading an article where a number of companies are really giving serious thought to space mining now, because they understand, based on the findings of other missions, that there's so much that can be mined on asteroids.
Well, a lot of that is proprietary, and I can't really share it. I will say that Planetary Resources, it has the lead in this, ahead of Deep Space Industries. We'll see. I think they had proposed, Planetary Resources had proposed a series of satellites like Canada's NEO satellites, so that will be kind of a pathfinder for that industry. The other thing is that Canada may have a market for selling more copies of the NeoSat.
Really, eh?
Yes.
Now, we were talking briefly about the NeoSat prior to the news, and is the NeoSat part, if my memory serves me correct, it's part of it's a joint venture sort of between Canada and India?
It's going to be launched an Indian launch vehicle. The Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle, it's tricky. They got 6 satellites on it, so the navigation and control, the engines have to work, and then the payload fairing shroud has to separate, and the satellite deployment bus has to work all right. But it really looks good.
In fact, we're looking at February the 25th, I believe.
Yes, coming up shortly.
Which is next Monday.
Yeah.
Wow. It's going to be...
that'll close a tremendous gap in the warning system.
Are you going to see more and more independent companies getting into the space business?
I don't know. I think SpaceX is a one-off. Really, there's a lot of people that claim and work the government machinery down here, but then there's the other side that has great engineering. So I tend to think SpaceX is a one-off. I actually look for some of our old-line companies like Boeing and Lockheed to get back in with lowering their launch costs, and I'm hoping that comes about.
Why do you think Boeing and Lockheed, McDonnell Douglas, aren't getting into that aspect? Or is it because it would be a conflict of interest with their contracts with NASA?
Well, they earn a lot of money right now with the launch vehicles, and they haven't had to face competition. SpaceX is providing them with competition. The amount to get the launch cost down is a significant chunk of change. They're used to going to the government for that change. Whether they can raise it internally out of company funds and how much they can raise out of company funds is one of those questions, and I can't answer it.
All right. We also talked before the break about B612. Tell me more about the organization.
Well, it's essentially there was a set of astronauts, and they knew how bad the impact hazard was, and they knew NASA management really well and realized NASA wasn't doing enough. So they decided, well, we're going to have to go to the private sector. And they've gone to the private sector, and they have a nice satellite from Ball Aerospace, all designed, and they're just trying to raise the construction money and the launch money. So it's largely multimillionaires that kind of contribute to this sort of thing. So if you're in that class, you get to hang out with some astronauts, some of your fellow multimillionaires. Of course, maybe there's a press discount, Rob. You can slip in the side door or something. Sit in the back of the room with a diet soda instead of a cocktail.
Well, wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah, well, I don't know what the musical entertainment's going to be, but I suspect it'll be pretty good at some of these fundraisers.
Now, for something like B612, why is it so hard for them to raise a mere $500 million?
Yeah, well, it's there's a lot of other charitable causes out there. There's a lot of pain and suffering in the world, and there's a lot of things that multimillionaires have a personal interest in. It's just what they want to spend their money on.
But what about the Gates Foundation? Wouldn't they want to jump on this opportunity, not only to help out mankind, but to show the diversification of the Gates Foundation and how they're going that extra mile to help?
Let me mention that B612 just started their fundraising effort, so it's, if they haven't raised the money instantly, it takes a little while to raise $500 million. Everybody expects Bill Gates or Warren Buffett to pick up the tab, but actually there's a lot of multimillionaires that have less than that still would like to, will be donating to B612 this year. Even with the revisions to the tax code.
There's always the question when it comes to things going into space. Do we have to use nukes to deal with these things? Dealing with comets or asteroids or meteors?
No, actually, for the small ones, we can use non-nuclear means. The objects are moving at incredible rates of speed. It's like 44,000 miles per hour or something like that. And so all you have to do is set up a piece of metal in their way, like a dummy round on a gun, hollow point, and boom, it's exploded. It'll run into it at the necessary velocity. You don't have to fire anything at it. You can use just an inert mass.
Does the United States, Russia, and China have something in place that could be used in case of an imminent deep impact? Like if they got the word from NASA, gentlemen, in 3 months, we are going to be hit unless you guys can do something.
3 months is plenty of warning time. Yeah, they no problem with 3 months. It's always a question of warning time. We can handle anything up to the dinosaur killers if we get sufficient warning. Of course, you have to use nukes on a standoff nuclear charge on a dinosaur killer, but if we get sufficient warning time, we can handle anything. It's a question of the amount of warning time. And once again, Canada's NeoSat is going to help a whole lot with that.
Well, with the new technological advancements that are made on a daily basis, I'm sure as time progresses, the ability to detect and predict, as well as the manner that we could actually change the course of the incoming comet, asteroid, or meteor should be available.
Yeah, it will be. What already is, if you look at it, China just did an asteroid flyby, and they could easily have impacted it had it been necessary. Europe has done this before. The United States has done it before. Russia, I don't know that their efforts have been particularly good in that direction, but there's certainly 4 leading nations. I want to say that the Europeans are going to fund ADIA, which is the Asteroid Detection or Asteroid Deflection and Impact Assessment, where they're actually going to try and move a little asteroid. That's coming up. That's in their budget, so that probe's going to be going out.
A lot of things happening in the manned space industry. Is NASA getting the necessary funding these days?
NASA gets a whole lot of money, and a whole lot of it's been wasted, particularly under Bush Jr. I'm sorry, but and Mike Griffin, they just wasted $8 billion on a rocket that was really crummy.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the Ares 1. It would have vibrated bad enough to turn the astronauts' brains into milk.
Ooh, that is no good.
Yeah, really. $8 billion, and this little design flaw wasn't caught from the get-go. You go, wait a minute here.
But you know what?
What, Rob?
It was discovered before any loss of life. We're not looking at another Challenger disaster.
Right, or Columbia.
Exactly,
Yes,
so thank the good
absolutely.
Lord that it was caught before we lost any more brave astronauts. Ed, you and I have to take our final break for this hour. Please stand by. Exxon Nation, Ed Grondine is our guest. We're talking about meteorites, comets, and asteroids this hour. And as I said, Ed is the author of, let me see. Come on, Ed.
Man, Impact in the Americas,
There
Rob.
you go. There you go. And interesting topic. I'm sure that we're going to be reading more about this in the media, and I'm sure Ed's going to be with us. In fact, Ed, we'll try and get you on maybe next week, Monday or Tuesday, to talk about the launch.
Oh, that'd be a real pleasure.
All right, buddy, stand by. You and I will be back on the other side of this break. Exo Nation, my name is Rob McConnell, and this is the Exxon. We're coming to you from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Don't go away. Welcome back, everyone. This is the Exxon. My name is Rob McConnell. We're coming to you from our studios where? Hamilton, Ontario. Yay! You've got it right. And just if you're wondering where the hell Hamilton is, it's very simple. We're on the shoreline of Lake Ontario in between Toronto and Niagara Falls, Ontario. We're smack dab in the middle. And if you're coming to Canada, drop by to Hamilton. It's a beautiful city, friendly people, and we have the best Tim Hortons coffee anywhere. Ed, first of all, I want to thank you so much for joining us. I look forward to speaking to you next week about the launch on February the 25th. But I've noticed, Ed, that you have a special connection with Native Americans, and I understand you have some powwows coming up.
Yes, I will. I'm 1/8 Native American by descent. Rob, I got an echo here on the line.
Yeah,
I don't know if you're picking that up.
No,
there.
you're nice and clear here.
Okay. Well, I'm 1/8 Native. I'm 1/8 Shawnee by descent, and so what I have in my book is a lot of Native American history, and so essentially, when I go out to powwows, here's your history, and it's always a great experience.
What happens in a powwow? You know, when people think of powwows, they think the old television westerns, which I'm sure have nothing to do with the reality of them.
No, it really doesn't. It's actually Native Americans, people of Native American descent here in the East getting together and having a feast and dancing and singing and sharing their culture with people that are not of Native descent.
And are outsiders, non-Native Americans, allowed to come to a powwow?
Yes, a powwow is always not a ceremony. Ceremonies are closed to tribal members.
I see.
Powwows are for the general public and for everybody. They're certainly welcome.
Wow, fantastic.
I want to mention, Rob, I'm going to be down in Natchez, Mississippi here with the Natchez coming up in the end of March, and that's going to be a fine time. Say hi to Dr. Borum and the Natchez powwow crew down there.
So you're a busy guy.
Very much so.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Ed, we're coming up to the time where we have to say so long. What would you like to leave with the Exo Nation tonight?
Mainly the thought that this has been a real blessing. It's been a wake-up call to humanity, and that this wake-up call is going to save millions of lives, and that's the good news.
Any bad news?
No, not really. On this one, it was all good. There don't even seem to be severe eye injuries, so it's wonderful.
All right. Was there any damage caused by the asteroid last week? Did any satellites get smashed?
No, there's no sales for any of the launch vehicle manufacturers or the satellite manufacturers from 2012 DA-14. So, and nobody's communications has been interfered with.
Ed, I want to thank you once again for joining us tonight. Always a great pleasure talking to you, and I'll look forward to talking to you next week to discuss the latest in space news and the launch.
Yeah, the NeoSat launch. That's it, Rob.
February the 25th.
That's the plan. To see how the weather goes.
All right, I look forward to talking to you. Ed, thanks very much for taking time to join us tonight.
Always a pleasure.
Exonation, Ed Grondine is my guest and has been my guest this hour. He's going to be joining us next week. We'll be discussing the latest launch as well as other space news. He is the author of Man and Impact in the Americas, and I'll be back on the other side of this commercial break with the news as we continue from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. My name is Rob McConnell. This is the X Zone. We'll be back. Don't go away.